Welcome to Wildlife Conversations. I am your host, Jen Ritchie, and I want to thank our sponsor, Roberts Camera, for helping make this possible. You can visit their website at www.robertscamera.com. And Wildlife Conversation listeners get a coupon code and it is Jen Ritchie VIP, and you can get 10% off used photo equipment and 10% off select accessories. So please use that and give Roberts a little look. So I am pleased today to welcome my friend Maureen Matsen for another quick chat. Welcome, Maureen. I'm so happy to have you. You just got rid of me.
Hi, Jen. Well, it's been a whole week. I've been missing you.
I know. It's crazy. It's crazy. I can't believe it's been a week, but
I know.
you let me travel along with you on your dream trip. Tell us a little bit about what
Let
your
you? Are
dream
you
trip
kidding?
was.
It was my pleasure. It was my pleasure to have you, Jen. We're still friends after
Yes,
10 days together. It's
yes,
amazing.
definitely, definitely. I think it was smooth. We had a good time. So tell me a little bit about what this dream trip was and how it came about, and then we can talk about
Okay.
my adventure with you, and then you did a little more adventuring after me. So how did you figure this
Yeah.
dream trip out?
So otters obviously have always been a love of mine. And in 2021, I went to Scotland to see the Eurasian otters.
Mhm.
And so sea otters have, if I did see them as a kid in California, I don't really remember it. So I just really wanted to get some good sea otter time in.
Yeah.
And when I was up in Alaska, I heard about lots of different options up in Alaska.
Mm.
And so that still is in the back of my mind. And I know there's great opportunities in California also.
Yeah.
But one of the photos that came to mind when I started really thinking about what my dream was a Canadian Geographic cover by Anthony Bucci. And so as I started, thinking about making this dream a reality, that's the direction I went. So I looked up where he was from, where the sea otters in Canada are most commonly found, how expensive a trip would be, and ultimately found that he actually did tours out of a city that he lives in Vancouver Island called Port McNeill.
Yeah.
So I stashed all that information away, trying to decide what I could afford, and had some time off this summer because I had originally planned to go to Alaska this summer and got a last minute opportunity last summer. So I knew I really couldn't afford to go up to Alaska again this year. But this trip to Vancouver Island seemed a little more affordable. And so I booked in January, I booked a Airbnb in Port McNeill and reached out to him and started making some plans.
Yeah.
And then I think I mentioned it to you girls when I was with you in February in Yellowstone. And I think everybody had had such an expensive summer the summer
Yes,
before
yes,
in Alaska that
yes.
nobody really felt like they could do it. So I just kind of went ahead with my plans then.
Yeah. Yeah. And then in June we talked. You're like, there's still a seat on the Zodiac. It'll be me and Anthony, and there's one more seat. And I was like, oh. So I did think about it and ultimately said yes. And I'm really glad I did. It was
I'm
really
so
fun.
glad.
Yeah.
I'm
So
so
you
glad.
packed up
Yeah,
your Jeep Mac
I
and
did.
you picked me up in Seattle.
I did.
And
I
then we made
uh,
our way.
I made it halfway to Seattle the first night and
Yeah.
then stayed in Seattle the night before I picked you up. And
Yeah.
then, yeah, I picked you up at the airport, which was crazy. The Seattle
Yeah.
airport is
It is
crazy.
crazy. Yeah. I thought so too.
And we headed up and crossed the Canadian border and then took a ferry from, I'm going to butcher the name, so I'm not even going to say it.
Don't even say it. Yeah.
The ferry crossing right after the border,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
um,
It starts
across
with a
to
T, but
Vancouver
I don't know how to
Island.
say it.
Yes, yes. Across to Duke Point, which is in Nanaimo,
Yes. Yes.
yeah, on Vancouver Island. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And we stopped. Did we stop at the Old Country Market that day with the goat? No, it was the next.
We did that
That was
afternoon. We stopped. So I had been doing tons of research, and
yes.
cute Jen, she just went along with everything that I
Yeah.
told her I wanted to see.
Yeah.
But I had researched that the place to stop near Nanaimo was this cute old town country market
Yeah.
that had goats on the roof.
And we got pictures of the one goat, but we did find curly whirlies. Oh, I should have had one of those in here.
I know, I could grab one. I actually shared a couple with my brother in Bozeman a couple days ago. I was so nice. But yes, we found some candy that I think they were closing like an hour after we got there, so we didn't spend a whole lot of time there, but amazing like produce and like every type of food that you could want. And the bonus was a goat on the roof. I mean, who doesn't like a market with a goat on the roof?
I mean, who knew? Who knew? This is why you need to do your research and have your travel books like you did. Yep.
So
and then we spent the night in Courtney, and that was not really eventful.
No, it was
not really eventful.
I don't know that we could recommend Courtney for future travelers up there.
Sorry to Vancouver Island, but
it was a little sketch.
Yep. And then we heard more later that we probably were good to move on. So then we moved on up to Port McNeill, and we had a wonderful Airbnb, a wonderful family.
We did. And if anybody wants future information on that, they were the sweetest family. They gave us such great information. It was a lovely place to stay.
Yep. We can look out. We could see the water down the hill and the marina and everything. It was so pretty. So pretty.
Yeah, so pretty.
But we also got lucky on our first couple of days and had really good weather. And so what were you there? What was your goal to shoot going up all the way up the island?
So originally I requested 2 days of just marine life in general, and then 2 days with the otters.
Yes.
Because obviously the otters were high on my list, but going all the way up there was a great chance of seeing orcas and humpback whales, seals, sea lions, and other types of marine life like porpoises and dolphins and things like that. And so we got up there Saturday night and I had padded the trip a little bit with a day on either side, knowing that weather was going to be a huge factor in whether we could even go out and what kind of photos obviously that we would get to. So we lucked out that Sunday was like a perfect day. It was overcast. The seas were not really bad. And so our guide was great. And he said, let's go. So we went out on Sunday. And it was an amazing day. I think we saw a little bit of everything that day.
Yeah. I think we got spoiled a little bit because we thought, well, this is what it's like every day. We saw orcas, humpbacks, sea lion that day, sea otters. I don't think we didn't see the dolphins till later. But I mean, humpbacks feeding and the bait balls and orcas, the resident orcas. All in the resting line and playing. And so we just thought, oh, this is easy.
Amazing. 4 days of this.
But we didn't think incredible. It was easy. Yeah. I mean, I think we thought, it's easy to see stuff. But then we quickly learned this is not easy shooting at all.
It is not easy at all.
We were in a 3-person Zodiac. And, we were seated, but you're in the seas, you're in the ocean bouncing. I mean, we were laughing a lot just because I think at one point you're like, this is like drunk shooting because we were just
totally. It was like a mix between, I mean, I've never been drunk before, but that's what I imagine. And playing whack-a-mole because you just never knew when something was going to pop up somewhere and you just had to be like ready to go at any moment. It was crazy. That first night, I think we came back with like total wind-burned faces and and just exhausted from constantly guessing where things were going to jump up.
The light coming up. I think we did learn a few lessons that day to go out the next day. And like, I knew as a redhead, I needed way more coverage. And because I was getting headaches out there a little bit just because of the glare and everything, but just like wearing my sunglasses as much as possible. I had to put, you thankfully had an extra like buff I put on. And well, I mean, that was a lot of wind, because I guess I was kind of picturing like we would just like trolley along like the coves. Like I wasn't thinking like how fast we'd be moving on the water to
Yeah.
get places, and then
Yeah.
how many other boats would be out there with us. It was very similar to our like, I am sorry, I have a stupid bug that's, it looks stupid. It's a bug, like a fruit fly or something that's driving me crazy. Anyway, and it was kind of like we said, like the Tetons, how there's certain like hot spots where everybody is, people are
Totally.
communicating. There's some
Yeah.
like, there's wildlife management, which we should mention. It was hard also because we had to stay 200 meters from the orca.
Yeah, that was something that I didn't get in my research, is just how far back we would be from most of the animals, unless they came to
Yeah.
us. I
Yes.
posted a couple of otter photos where they had come to us,
Yes.
but yeah, super difficult from a distance to get clear photos of these things that were just popping up everywhere that we
Yes.
had no notice of. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
Well, what did you think was the best lens for you for that?
Well, I didn't have as many choices as you did, Jen. So I just used my 100 to 500. I'm a Canon shooter, and I used my 100 to 500 millimeter pretty much for everything. I had brought the Canon RF 800 and pulled that out a couple of times when the seas were a little calmer, and to see if I could get a little better reach. But to be honest, I think my 1 to 5 did much better on
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I did bring my 428 and had the 1.4 teleconverter on most of the time. So I felt like that worked well, except it did
Yeah.
get heavy in a bouncing Zodiac. And I was having
Yeah.
trouble with my shoulder too, which you never know what's going to happen while you're traveling.
Yeah.
So, you're figuring out your position in the boat, how to hold yourself, how to do everything. But I can reach right here and get it. I took the 200 to 800 with me. Canon 200 to 800 with me, and it's noticed back in the plastic because I was really disappointed. I would love to hear what other people think about
Yeah.
that lens, but it just couldn't perform, and I feel really bad. So I am returning it. Thankfully, I can return it, but it just did not perform, and I really don't want to use it anymore. And I would love for people to tell me what they think about the Canon 200 to 800 if they enjoy it. But for me, when I got home and looked at the images, I lost like full days. Like that full day we went out in Campbell River, I don't know that I have anything usable because,
Well, if it makes you feel any better, I didn't get a whole lot that day either.
yeah,
It's super tricky shooting on the ocean, and I'm sure people
yeah,
who live by the ocean know this a little bit better. But
yeah,
not only is the boat rocking, but the animals are rocking,
yeah.
and then you're playing with the light bouncing off the water, um, and seagulls flying in that
Exactly.
photobombed us a few times.
I know.
Uh,
I would think finally it's in focus. I'm getting the shot, and a seagull would come right. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Oh, it was so funny, but it is a challenge because as photographers, I'm used to using my knee
Yeah,
or the ground or something to stabilize my lenses in certain situations, and there was no way to really do that on board the boat
mhm.
because it almost made it worse to stabilize on the boat because it was rocking up and down with
I
the
agree.
water.
Yeah.
So super challenging, super challenging.
But we did
Gosh,
get images, and we did
we
see,
did.
so I mean, it was just like it was seeing so many beautiful and different things. And like I felt like such a privilege to be able to see those things.
Yeah.
Like when the dolls porpoises swam around the boat. I mean, people see the reel. I'm going a little bit crazy. If you want to see that reel, it's on my Instagram.
It was so cute.
It was like I was 12 years old again because I am a little crazy about porpoises and dolphins. So, and then the orca at one point swam like
Yeah.
underneath our boat. That was really,
Yeah. 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 I mean, there were several moments where both of us just put our cameras down and just tried to be in the moment because gosh, how often do you get to just I mean, at one point, what were we saying? We were in whale soup. I mean, there were whales everywhere. And
everywhere.
the light wasn't super great. So yeah, we were just sitting there enjoying being with these amazing animals. It
Yeah.
was,
Yeah.
yeah. It
I
was
think one of
crazy.
the things we wanted to make sure people know is like it's really hard for the guides and the boat captains because the weather is so unpredictable. And so we did have unpredictable weather, like full bright sun or fog. Like one morning we did go out and it was pretty much zero visibility.
Yeah.
It was super cool. Like we did have humpbacks, trap feeding coming out almost like monsters of the sea, trap
Yeah.
feeding. And so I'm looking forward to seeing those images because it was just cool to see all that texture and the fog
Yeah.
and everything.
Yeah. It allowed us to get a little artsy with
Yeah.
some of the
Yeah.
encounters for sure.
Sea otters
Yeah.
in the fog, and we could hear dolphins jumping like right in front of us, but could not see them. So, I mean, even though it's disappointing not to see them, it was still like, I'm still hearing dolphins jumping.
Yeah.
It was like, that was
Yeah.
so cool. So,
So amazing.
and that the transient orcas, I think that day, was it that day in the fog
Yeah.
we saw them, 3 of them?
Well, it was in the fog, but I can't remember if it was that day or the next
Yeah.
day that kind of
Yeah.
was half foggy and half clear. So
Yeah.
yeah, my
But
days are all running together. I mean, it's
yeah, me
been,
too.
yeah,
Me
two
too.
and a half weeks
Yeah.
of
Oh yeah,
just
you
beauty.
have been
Yeah.
on the road and so busy and you just got home last night. So
Yeah. Yeah.
the fact
But
that
yeah,
you can even
all
talk
the days
today.
on the water, they all ran together for me.
They
I mean, I
did.
remember the weather, and the challenges, but as far as which day was which, I seriously don't remember. But
Yeah.
yeah, we were privileged to see not only the resident northern orcas. There was a pod of like 8, I think, that were together, and then I think we saw a couple that were that were not with them. And then
Yeah.
we did on, I think it was one of our last days, we saw the transient orcas
Yeah.
that were
Yeah.
hunting and
They were on a
circling one of
mission.
the islands where we
Yeah.
had seen seals the day
Yeah.
before, or sea
Yeah.
lions the day before. So
Yeah. They were on a
yeah,
mission. And I think I
yeah,
learned
for
new
sure.
birds and like, things like that. Saw eagles
Yeah,
nests. So that was really cool.
yeah,
It was fun to learn a whole new world and new system.
yeah,
But you realize like you'd have to be out here a lot to get the shots that
yeah,
you see people
yeah,
getting. And in
definitely.
4 days, you can't get like breaching and all that. You have to have a lot of
Hmm.
patience and just wait for those animals to do what they do. But we did
Well,
see
and the
breaching.
animal behavior, like with any mammal, changes depending on the situation they're in.
Right, right.
Whether they've eaten their fill or whether they're moving to try to get food. And so there are some situations, I think, when the breaching happens all the time, but we only saw one breach up there in
Up
Port
there, yes.
McNeil,
Yes.
and it came out of nowhere. So of course, neither of us got
Yeah. And
it.
I only really saw the splash. And then we traveled down to Campbell River and spent a
Yes.
couple of days there. And we ended up doing a tour there on a 12
Hmm.
seater, and there were 7 of us.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that guide was really good too. And
He was really great.
yeah, he was fun. And so we did see breaching twice, which was fun. Like we just saw the whole clear thing. It just that he had just
Yeah.
handed out snacks.
I know, we've all got our homemade granola bars in our hands, and then all of a sudden this whale breaches and
Of
none of
course,
us got it on the
of
ship.
course, of course. So I kept saying, I'll eat another granola bar if everybody wants to see another breach. And then as we were leaving to go to another whale, he breached again and we missed
Yeah.
it again. But
Yeah.
it's
I
okay.
got a really good splash picture of
Yes,
him
yeah,
coming
I was gonna
down
say I've
after.
got a splash picture. I don't really know what to do with, but I
Darn it
don't know.
all.
But actually, I don't know
Well,
if
and
it's all that
and if
good.
you're really into whale photos, like there are different behaviors that happen more commonly in different
Mhm.
areas and at different times. Like I think I told you, Jen, when I was in Maui, you could see whales breaching left and right every afternoon from the beach. But they're not eating there.
Yeah,
It's their mating and their breeding time. And so
yeah, yeah.
they're in a little different state of mind. So
That's true.
yeah,
Location matters for different
yeah.
behaviors, and there's different pods. And like just learning numbers and the pods and the
Hmm.
different groups. That was fun to learn all of that.
Yeah.
And just
And the orcas seemed, the resident orcas seemed very at peace, I guess I should say, because they were resting a lot. They didn't
yes,
really do a whole lot.
yeah,
And I got a couple of spy hops of the babies that were just
yeah,
curious, but
yeah.
none
That
of
was cute.
the none of the adults really did any of that behavior.
They really
So
didn't do much. That
yeah.
one day we did see a dolphin swimming with them. That was kind of cool.
Yes.
Like right
Yes.
intermingled very closely with them. So
Yeah.
that was interesting. And I've told
Yeah.
you, I want to get under there and like swim.
I know,
See, you
right?
guys think I'm crazy, but like I was looking at underwater photos today and I'm like, man, if it was just like 30 years ago and that marine biology dream, I could have done all that. Oh my gosh. I totally want
But
to
can
get in
you
the water.
imagine how challenging those photos are? I mean,
Yeah.
I can't even imagine being at the
Yeah.
right place at the right time and having all the right equipment for
I
something like
know. If
that,
somebody wants to
because
teach
it
me how to
was,
do that, I'm open. I want to see humpbacks underwater. I'm like, I was
you
looking at
go,
images
Jen.
today. Oh my gosh, so cool.
I
But
will cheer you on. I don't want to be
I
anywhere underwater near those
I
whales.
think it's my swimmer days. I was just, yeah, it has to be that because I love being underwater and all that. But anyway, it was
Oh,
so mesmerizing though, that water. It'd be so beautiful and mesmerizing. And you'd be like, I just want to get in there with them.
I know, right? Well, and it's funny, I just this morning pulled up some of the photos to start looking through them, and it's funny how even like within minutes, the light on the water changes.
Yeah.
So some
Yeah.
of them were very muted and another very bright blue, and it was just a matter of where the boat was facing and
Hmm.
what the sun was doing.
So interesting. You can see how
Yeah,
people would get addicted to it and want to be out
yeah,
there and try and try and try. Yeah.
yeah, 100%.
Um,
Yeah.
and so what do you think the thing you packed, what were things you packed that were really helpful?
Well, you mentioned I brought a lot of winter type clothes, not knowing what the weather was going to be like up there. So I had a couple of buffs, which after our first day we realized were really helpful to just block you from the wind.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Hats, definitely not only for the sun, but also to keep your head a little bit warm.
Mm-hmm.
We were in big float suits, so I don't think the clothing underneath was as critical as maybe the covered parts that weren't covered. So more your
Yeah.
head and your hands, because gloves came in handy. It
Yes.
did get a little cold without gloves on shooting,
Yeah.
and and then we had brought wet dry bags for our camera gear, and I was glad to have that.
Too. Me
I'm
too.
used to using a backpack, but I decided to bring a dry bag duffel to
Yeah.
put my Peak Design large cube in. And
Yeah.
that was nice to just be able to reach down and grab things out instead of having to unzip a backpack and
Yeah.
all of that. And I was confident that it would stay,
And what
that
that
it
was
would
that was
stay
Earth
dry.
Pack, right? Isn't that the brand we
Yeah,
both
I
use?
just got it
Yeah,
off of
Amazon. Yeah.
Amazon.
I
Yeah,
really
I
liked
think
mine too.
yeah,
I had a
I
40
think I
liter
bought it
backpack.
originally for Alaska and didn't end up bringing it. I
Yeah.
decided
Yeah.
against it, so I still had it. But
Yeah.
yeah, it was, I really liked
I was
that
super glad I had mine
ability.
because, yeah, Anthony was
Yeah,
nice enough to let me bring, because it's one bag per person, but he was nice enough to let me bring the 40-liter backpack dry bag to put my 400 in, and then my
yeah, I'm so
gear
glad you
bag
had that.
for the other. Yeah, I was really helpful that I could have both of those. I
Yeah,
really was glad to have that. I
yeah,
think both kinds of hat, winter hat, and then some kind of sun protection hat. And maybe
yeah.
remember that you've zipped up a raincoat in the inside of your float suit before you die. Because the
Jen, would you
first
know that from
day,
personal
I
experience?
wouldn't know that. I don't know why I would know that, but oh my gosh, that first day, just getting used to everything. I'm like, why am I so hot? I'm burning up. Oh, forgot I have my rain jacket on in the inside. So
Yeah,
yeah, those
yeah,
float suits were,
yeah,
you were a whole new deal, but
yeah.
they're fine.
And definitely I would mention sunglasses too,
Yeah.
because like you said, the water was really bright at certain points, and
Yeah.
even just the wind blowing in your face, you definitely needed some eye covering. I think we brought snacks each day, which was good because some days turned out to be, because the weather was nice and we just ended up staying out a
Yeah.
little bit. Snacks were nice. I brought water, but both of us were totally dehydrated because there wasn't readily available bathrooms. And so we were trying not to drink. And then we'd come home every afternoon and like guzzle liquid IV and
Yes,
like
yes. Thank you. You did bring that. Yes, that's
to
another
try to
thing to
get some
bring.
hydration in us.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's a
Yes.
good
The
thing
first
to
day we stayed out
remember.
like 7 hours and I was like, nobody touch me. I'm getting
Jen
the
got off and she's like, I
Zodiac
got to get to a bathroom
very
right now.
carefully. So we did laugh a lot.
A
We had a
lot.
lot of fun. We had so much fun. And Vancouver Island is so gorgeous. The forests are so dense. And I think one of the themes we noticed were just the layers. Mount Stephen,
Layers.
beautiful,
Yeah.
but then just layers and layers, like almost like the Smoky Mountains, you know? And we would go up high and see those beautiful layers. And then in Campbell River, we saw those beautiful layers.
Yeah.
And then we went down to Victoria. We won't mention our hotel.
No, we will not. All I'll say is not all TripAdvisor reviews are accurate.
Very, very true. Very true. I
In
will
many
say,
senses.
if you're a Gen Xer, you may remember the Muppet Hotel. I did think that maybe a Muppet might pop out at any moment, and I would have welcomed it because that would have been familiar. But we did have a rubber duck in the bathtub to join us.
That was at least 40 years old.
40 years
and
old
looked
with
it.
mold inside. Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, we did not take showers there, and we had a
The only great thing is that we were right close to the downtown area where the ferry was, so we got to walk to the Empress, and there was actually the symphony was doing a big concert for, I think, for the holiday that we didn't know about that was happening that weekend.
Yeah,
and then it was a 5-minute drive to the ferry the next morning, so that was, location was amazing. Hotel would not.
And we saw fireworks. We got to see fireworks.
Oh yeah, and they did fireworks for us our last night in Canada. They were so excited for us.
And I have to say that we love Canada, and everyone in Canada was so nice to us. And
they were so nice.
So I really am so thankful for all the Canadians, and I can't wait to go back to Canada. And you do need your passport going back and forth. We had seen someone post that you don't need the passport on the ferry, but you do definitely need your passport.
Yeah.
And so just remember that. But yes, thank you to all the Canadians who were so friendly to us. And I can't wait to come back because it's just a great place to be. And I love there's just a different feel. It's a little bit different feel. So it's nice. Yeah. But then we went, we got to go to Olympic National Park for a few hours too.
Yes. Yeah.
That was cool.
Which was gorgeous.
Yeah.
Yeah. When we drove in that morning, the clouds were pretty low lying. So we got some amazing photos of the layers with some low lying clouds, and then got steered towards a little waterfall, which was beautiful.
It was so pretty. Yeah. What was it? Yeah. Which one was it? I forget. It starts with an M.
Was it Madison?
Madison. That's right. Madison. That's right. Yeah. That was really pretty.
We didn't have a ton of time to spend there, so we just saw a tiny bit of the park, but it was beautiful. I was glad to
check it off and then hopefully come back again. Yeah. And then we made our way down to Seattle, and we got to have dinner with Philip Scrimshaw. So that was really fun. He's been on the podcast before. We also got to have coffee with David Duchemin, and
I was going to say, we forgot that as we drove down Vancouver Island, we saw David Duchemin.
Yes, it was great to see him too, and got to see Philip. So we got to see friends along the way, which was really nice. To see people from our community, and just so welcome and friendly. And then you took me to the airport, and I flew back home, which was sad, but then you got to continue. Where else did you go after that?
So I left you in Seattle and drove north to Anacortes and took the ferry over to San Juan Island. I figured while I was there, I might as well see it. And now I just want to go back and explore all the other islands because it was beautiful. San Juan was beautiful. The people were so nice, and it was nice to see the similarities between the island life there. And, you could see Vancouver Island from San Juan Island. So you understand why there's so many similarities, but a few differences too. And it was, it was beautiful. So I was there for 3 nights. I only camped one of the nights. I would have camped more, but there were not camping spots available. So if you are planning on camping, definitely get those reserved ahead of time. And I would say the same thing about the ferry rides. It'll make your life a lot easier if you reserve those ferries ahead of time. But yeah, some beautiful lighthouses. San Juan Island is known for its kind of intense fox population.
Yes.
So, and there's a lot of history there that I won't go into, but fun to see some foxes. And then Also got a raccoon one day and some
Aw.
beautiful little fawns.
Mhm.
And then my last night there, I had decided not to do a whale watching tour off of San Juan, which are supposed to be amazing. And in fact, my brother and his family are up there right now, and they went yesterday and saw so many amazing
Oh,
things.
cool.
But financially and time wise, I just decided it wouldn't be the best idea. So, but my last night, I was out at one of the lighthouse points, just kind of doing some sunset photography, and saw a few foxes, and two young ladies with huge cameras walked right past me and said that the whales were headed our way, which
Oh.
usually on the island means the orcas. And so I was like, okay, well,
Aw.
I'm gonna see some orcas. So I sat on the rocks at this point and watched the orcas eventually showed up and swam right under the full moon. It was so beautiful. And I don't have great photos. The light was so low, but I did take some video,
Mhm.
and it turns out they were the bigs, some of
Okay.
the bigs. So some of the transient orcas that were coming to the point, because there's lots of seals on a rock right there, and I was really hoping I was not going to see that as my last
Yeah, yeah.
adventure on the island, and I didn't. They lunged a few times, but I don't know that they got anything. But yeah, so that was beautiful. San Juan Island is definitely worth a visit, and I can give you information about camping and also the hotel I stayed
Yeah.
in if anybody's interested.
Yeah,
Yeah.
your camping spot looked beautiful too.
It was, it was like the county park that they had turned into a camping area for people, and full of families, really safe environment, it seemed like, and beautiful views of the sunset. And
Yeah.
yeah,
The
yeah, it was
orchid
beautiful.
swimming through that moonlight was so beautiful.
I
What
know,
a
so
send off.
crazy, huh?
What a send off. It was
Yeah,
so
it was
cool.
it was like, when we left Vancouver Island, we got the fireworks. When I left San Juan, I got the orcas swimming under
Yes.
the full moon. It was
Yeah.
it was pretty awesome. So,
Yeah. I think at one point when we were driving around, I said to you, I love it up here, but I kind of miss home. And I meant
mhm,
Tetons. Like I
yeah,
missed our home shooting area.
yeah.
I know everyone that that's not my home, but it feels like home to me. It feels like
Right.
home to me in terms of
Yeah,
shooting. So,
yeah.
you did get to go back through Yellowstone a
I
little
did.
bit, and
I
which is
did.
very
So
different in the summer.
yes, I left. I took an early morning ferry off of San Juan, and kind of as I'm on the ferry ride, like debating with myself back and forth about what I'm going to do. Work has been crazy busy, and my heart was like, maybe I should go back and help them. And then my mind was like, you don't get vacation very often. You just got
Yeah,
to enjoy it while you're out here. So I
yeah,
headed to Montana, spent the night in a forest campground, and then stopped by the next day to the National Bison Range,
yeah,
which
yeah.
is now run by some of the tribes. And it was incredible. If you ever have a chance to go to the National Bison Range in Montana, it's about 30 miles, I would say, outside of Missoula, Montana, and it
Okay.
was gorgeous and not very busy. And
Mhm.
I saw huge bull elk, I saw bison, I saw eagles, I saw a black bear,
Mm,
um, deer, antelope, like all these amazing things that the tribe is protecting there. And
mm,
so that was amazing.
that's
Then I
fun.
stopped by Bozeman to see my brother and sister-in-law. We went and got some food and got to give them some big hugs. And then they were so sweet. They were like, stay, stay. And I was like, the Yellowstone is just
Who's
like right
calling?
there. And I need some mammals in
Yeah,
my life.
yeah,
So yeah, so I actually headed over to the Beartooth Pass
yeah.
and spent the night in a forest campground there. And then early the next morning, I got out and found some mountain goats out on the tundra, which
Oh,
was amazing.
nice. That's on my bucket list. I still need to do that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you need to do it. And then some of them on the rocks too, but the tundra is a little more rare for me to see up there. So
Mhm.
I just laid down and
Oh,
with those goats and had such a great time. So I've got some amazing goat photos to share too. But on the way to the goats that morning, passed by three grizzly bears that were literally so close I couldn't even get a photo of them because they were just
wow.
right at the off the road.
Wow.
not in the parks. So those of you
Yeah.
that are disappointed with what you see in the parks, I would say the majority of grizzlies live in the national forest, and I have great luck out there with
Mhm.
them. So,
Yeah.
so
Away
yeah,
from the
so
crowds a little bit.
goats and grizzlies, and then I drove home yesterday through Yellowstone and the Tetons and saw mostly antelope and bison,
Yeah. Yeah.
a few elk, and got home late last night. So
Yeah. And you're
it
like,
was quite the trip. I think I put 3,000 miles on the Jeep, and he is safely in the garage enjoying his rest,
rest.
and he needs a good bath. And I took a good bath, and it's good to be
Yeah.
home.
Well, I
Yeah.
enjoyed Mac being my home for 11 days. It was
Oh,
nice. And you
he's
were such
good.
a good
He's a good
host to
guy.
me. So thank you so
Oh,
much. It
thanks,
was so
Jen.
fun. I don't know that I hadn't been to Vancouver Island for 30 years. I went in my
Yeah.
early, like 20, I think I was 20, 21. So,
Yeah,
uh,
it had been like 20 years for me. So
yeah, I think
yeah.
I'd idealized a little bit
Hmm.
because it was so beautiful and it's grown a lot in 30 years. So, but
Hmm.
it still was so beautiful. But I had that same feeling of tugging, like I just want to see some land mammals, but the
Hmm.
forests were so dense up north that you
Yeah,
couldn't see through them to even to
you
scout.
really couldn't. I think was it David that was telling us like they have the largest population
Yeah,
per capita, I think, of mountain lions,
yeah,
but hardly anyone who lives there has ever even seen one. Kind of the same with Utah.
yeah,
We've got a
yeah,
ton of mountain lions, and you just don't see them on a regular
yeah,
basis.
yeah,
But yeah, I would say if you're going up there for bears and stuff like that, it's a little tough, and definitely certain times of years, because they were saying that the grizzlies that do swim over or walk over on the tides, it's usually the end of August to into October
yeah,
when they don't find as many salmon up in the rivers. So just be aware of that if you're going looking for bears.
yeah, yeah,
We were lucky to see several black bears, but it was just by chance, and definitely no good photos of them
yeah.
because they were
Right,
very quick.
right.
So
Very quick or
yeah,
very far. You were pointing them
yeah.
out to me when we were on the water, and I'm like literally could not see them because you're like, no, it's like the black speck.
Those tiny specks on the
Oh, I
shoreline.
thought those were
Yeah.
rocks. Okay, because
Mhm.
they're so tiny.
Yeah.
But we did get to get a little
Yeah.
closer. So,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
totally different. And it's just sometimes I think I was just missing fuzzy faces and eyes and
Mhm.
fur and
Yeah, me too. And obviously that's why I had to make the loop
I know,
around
I'm glad you got
because
to do
I
that.
needed that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
really glad you got to do that because it was
Yeah.
I think it was just a little pull. You learn something new, but it's also you love what you love, and there's
Yeah.
a reason why you do. So,
Yeah.
but
And it for me, like I think I put something in my stories, but it was my comfort loop. Like I just
oh
needed to go
yes.
home and see
Yes.
some of home
Yes.
before I ended this trip. So
That totally
yeah,
makes
but it
sense.
was amazing. And if any of you want more information about our itinerary, where we stopped, and the tours that we went on,
Yeah,
please reach out to us because we definitely have more
definitely.
insights
Yeah,
on those.
for
So
sure. It was fun to
yeah,
like stretch myself and learn more. And I think I'm still tired, but
yeah, me too.
I know you are.
Honestly,
You
it's
just
only
know
been 12
how.
hours. I'll be glad not to drive long distances for a little bit. That's
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
So what was your favorite moment? Let's end on your favorite moment of the trip
Oh
besides
gosh,
besides being with me.
that was my favorite moment. Seeing Jen at the Seattle airport was my favorite moment.
And jumping off the
Oh
Zodiac.
gosh. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Jen is a master of getting off of Zodiac. So I'll just say that. We
Well,
were
they
very
didn't
lucky
help
that
us
there
in
wasn't
Campbell
an
River.
emergency room
Yeah, I know. It's
visit
like,
in
well,
all
here
of
we
this.
go. Let's see how this goes. He wouldn't offer us a hand in Campbell River. It was weird. I'm like,
Bless his
okay, so we're
heart.
just supposed to jump off this thing onto this little narrow. Okay, and yeah, with bags and yeah, it was funny.
That was funny. That
The
was
girl
definitely
behind
one
me
of
was
the
like, I
funnier
thought you were
moments.
gonna go in. I'm like, well,
Almost, almost, or into the boat next to us. That one of the two.
one of the two. But your favorite moment?
I guess it would be really hard to narrow it down, to be
Yeah.
honest. Like it was so cool seeing the eagles with their talons full of herons,
Yes.
their herrings. There were so many cool whale moments, and obviously seeing the otters. I didn't get my dream shot of an otter with a baby on it. I did get some otters with babies on it, and I will post some soon, but not the like baby's head up and all of that. So that's still a dream. But I would say one of my favorite moments was the morning that we were just sitting in the middle of the ocean with these incredible layers of mountains all around us, spouts going off all around us, and my camera was in my lap, and I was just, you could hear the sounds, you could see so much at a 360-degree angle. And yeah, just being there, I think that moment was pretty incredible.
Pretty magical. It was.
Yeah.
It made you definitely realize how small you were, because you knew how huge.
Especially because we were on a tiny little boat.
Yes.
In the middle of all these whales.
Yes. It was very, very cool. Yeah. So I feel like I did learn a lot, and I feel privileged to see those things that many people never get to see. So I'm thankful that I got to go. It was really fun. I'm thankful you invited me.
I'm glad you would trust me to plan the adventure. So thanks for coming with.
And we had lots of laughs, and so it was good. I mean, I won't ever look at a rubber ducky the same way again, but it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, that was a little scarring at the end. I was just going to say, I came upon this quote today on Instagram from Theodore Roosevelt that said, "A smooth sea never made a skilled sailor." And I would say the same is true for a skilled photographer. Like, we have to challenge ourselves and get ourselves out of our comfort zones. And gosh, I'm so glad we did, like the incredibly beautiful things that we saw. And it makes every image even more special because I know that we fought really hard to get home.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah. Well, I thank you, friend, for everything, for being such a dear friend to me, and for being a photography friend and a life friend, and for just a great trip. And if people want to follow you, where can they find you?
Instagram, it's MEMATSEN photography and that's all I really have.
Yeah.
So,
and you're posting beautiful stuff from the trip already, so people can see
I know.
it there.
I'm one of those people, unlike some who have a little bit of self-control, that just blasts it all out. So
no,
everyone
who
who follows me
learns
that very quick, that I just come home and I want to show you everything that I saw.
It's okay. Everyone has their own style. Everyone has their own way of doing things. I haven't even looked through mine yet. I did let Philip Scrimshaw know, and all my Alaska friends, I did switch computers. I am now a Mac user. Yay. I know. So I am in the middle of that this week. So I'm still.
That's amazing.
Maybe I'll learn how to use Lightroom correctly. And I did not know Lightroom was fast. So this is like a whole new world for me after 6 years of
welcome aboard, friend.
Welcome aboard of my sweet little Dell, who worked very hard for me for 6 years to build a business and portrait business and my wildlife photography. So, but I am now changing over. So I've just been a little busy this week figuring that out. And but it is nice to see how quickly photos can move.
Yeah, right.
I didn't know.
That's amazing. I can't wait to, I mean, like I said, I just got home 12 hours ago. So I have so many photos to go through, and I'm going to try to do them in order, but the goat photos are really good. So it might be a little hard, but
I know. I don't know that I'm going to go in order after looking through. Yeah. Well, thank you so much. And
thanks, Jen.
Yeah, you're welcome. I don't know what I'm doing with my hand, people. Just, this is me. Anyway, I do want to thank Robert's Camera again for helping sponsor this podcast. And I want to thank everybody for listening. I know you have other things to do in your life, and I hope you all are having a good summer and a good back to school. And we have Susie Esterhaus this next Wednesday, August 20th at 8 p.m. live. She is one of my heroes. We've got a print in my daughter's room. I have her books lined up, and I know my kids grew up with her National Geographic covers, National Geographic Kids covers. And so I'm just really excited to have her. It's going to be fun. So if you'd like to register, that is in my Instagram, Jen L. Ritchie, or the Wildlife Conversations podcast Instagram. There's a link tree there with all the registration, but please join me live because we haven't been together for a while. So that'll be fun. So thank you, Maureen, so much.
Thanks, Jen.
You're
have
the
a good
best.
week.
You too. Okay.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.